Welcome to Hey Nurse, where our mission is to impact one, change many. And in today's video, we are talking all about getting into nursing school. That's right, I'm going to give some tips so that you can start off your RN BSN journey. So let's jump in. Tip number one is to make sure you apply to multiple schools. A mistake that I've heard many students say and do, or candidates should I say, is that they're only applying to one school. And to me, that never made sense, because I feel like, why put all your eggs in one basket? Right? Meaning that if you apply to one place, then you are banking on that one place to say yes. And if they say no, then you kind of delayed in your process. And you want to think about that, because if it's a program that only takes in new students once a year, twice a year, you're waiting another 6 months into the next application or the next applicant pool. That, or you just waited a whole 6 months to find out, an answer when you could have been accepted somewhere else, right? And just because one place may say no, another place may say yes. So you want to put yourself in the best position to get what you want, which is your degree at the end of the day, right? So again, apply to multiple schools. Okay, tip number two is make sure your transcripts look like someone who can be successful in nursing school. Okay, so let me dive in a little deeper. When you look at nursing programs website, it should have the admission criteria. So it's going to have whatever that cutoff GPA is, whether it's a 2.5, 3.0, 3.2, whatever it is. So your GPA on whatever classes you took prior to going need to be at minimum that or more, or higher. The higher the better, right? So 3.5, wonderful. 3.0, okay, great. 2.5, it just depends on, the program, who all is applying and whatnot. If you're below 2.0, I would say don't give up hope, because some programs look at a variety of factors on selecting a student. For students maybe with 2.0 or less than that, something that's going to help you out is having great recent coursework. Okay, and let me give an example. So say if a student 10 years ago went to school, had flying F's the whole time, right? And I'm exaggerating that a bit, but had F's, had some D's, maybe withdrew, have WFs, all kinds of stuff going on, right? But that was 10 years ago. But maybe in the last year or two, the recent coursework shows A's and B's. Well, somebody can say, well, maybe that person had something happening in their life at that time, but apparently they have grown and they've gotten it together to where their grades are looking better now. And again, showing that that person has the ability to do the work with the better grades in the recent coursework, right? So again, just be mindful of that. If you're someone maybe who has not gotten accepted into a program, then again, be mindful. Maybe you want to go take some more prereqs and try to make sure you get like an A or a B in the prereq. That's also going to help boost your GPA. Now, of course, the GPA is a funny little thing, because the more credits you have, the harder it is to move that GPA up. So keeping that in mind also, right? But again, A's and B's, and especially in the sciences, considering that nursing is a science, right? It's a science and an art, many say, but definitely want to have good grades, because that's what you're going to be studying. You're going to be doing the AMPs, like it builds on that information. The pathophysiology, all of that is going to build on that. So again, having that nice foundation, that nice background understanding is going to help. That's tip number two. Tip number three is study and take the entrance exam. So again, on that university or college website, it should spell out which exam it is. If it's the HESI, the T's, or whatever else, maybe your state or local schools require, make sure you take that examination. A lot of times there are study books available, and at this point I'm pretty sure it can be gotten off of like Amazon or wherever else, but those books are available so that a student can study or remediate themselves before and after the exam. So in terms of going into it, yes, I do highly suggest studying if you've taken like some prereqs already at a college, then that's going to hopefully help to prepare you. But if not, again, make sure you are studying some sort of book so that you can score the highest you possibly can on those entrance exams. Again, they a lot of times break it down by the area, so if you have a high score in the science areas, that's going to look good for you. I'm not saying neglect the other areas, but I'm just saying that to me it's common sense that you're going into a program that heavily relies on sciences, so you want to make sure your science grades look good, right? I always think it's interesting when people be like, I hate science, I was never good at science. But then they in nursing. Like, it's just, that's interesting to me. But then I also tell people I don't want to hear anything, all that negative self-talk. I just don't do it. If anybody who knows me, they know, they be like, oh, Miss Davis, you can't say that around her, because that's the truth. Like, I don't want to hear that, because I truly believe that, you know, we could speak stuff into existence. Maybe once upon a time you wasn't good at the sciences, but as of today, honey, you got it, okay? From here on out, you got to say, I am good, I am smart, I am conquering these sciences. Like, these sciences were made for me or something. You got to just claim it and take victory over it, right? But anyway, you know, y'all got to tune into one of my motivational videos to get that little Let's just stick to getting into nursing school for right now. My fourth tip is the personal statement. So it depends on, you know, the format that the school requires. I've heard some schools require a video now. Some schools just want like a written personal statement. And I'll touch on the video ones separate. Let's just stick to the written ones for right now. You want to make sure that you express yourself in the best way possible, and especially for a professional environment. Number one, you want to make sure you write it, okay? This is not the time where you're going to have 3 sentences and that's it. Okay? You need to kind of elaborate a little bit more. Maybe it's called a passion statement or something like that by your hopefully future program. But you want to explain why you want to be a nurse, what it is, if there's a story or something. Even if you say, okay, I'm not the best writer. Again, make it a story. Just tell your story of why you want to do it, whether it's an experience you had in a hospital or if it's a family member that you witnessed be a nurse all this time. Whatever the story is, make sure you express that. And then I'll add to that, make sure you get someone to read over it for you. I do feel that we are in a day and age where technology is accessible to pretty much everybody, right? There are too many websites out there, Grammarly. I've seen multiple Instagram accounts for like resume writing and, you know, personal statement writing, all these little things where nurses are helping people write these things, you know. So it's no reason why not to reach out for help if that's something that you need. But don't neglect it, because again, this is the time to speak for yourself and why you want to be a nurse, why you would be a good candidate for that school. Maybe to express some of your future plans. Like I know some people may say, I want to obtain my RN BSN because I want to be an NP in the future, or a CRNA, or whatever it may be. You can state that there. I know sometimes people, you know, I heard somebody say recently, I know it may sound bad to say I just wanted to come to nursing school to go to CRNA school. And I'm like, what sounds bad about that? That sounds like somebody who has a plan to me. So, again, it's okay to express those things. I know that when I was applying to nursing school, what mine had in it, oh Lord, child. This was a long time ago before I knew, okay? I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, and then I was gonna RL&D, and then I was gonna later become an NP, okay? So it's funny how life turned, and I ended up being an ER, and I'm a nurse educator, and it's a little different, but I think it's going to come full circle. Anyway, that's some of the information that I did include in my personal statement. I also explained of my background. I came from public relations and hospitality. I have a whole degree before nursing school, so explaining my degree and my transition and all of that, that was in my personal statement. I think at the time mine also had to have like my personal philosophy and all of that. which I'm sure has something about Carpe Diem, because it's been that since high school. I'm very much about seize the day, take the opportunity within that day, like just take life full on. So anyway, that speaks to me. So be authentic, be you, right? In the most professional way, because of course, you know, again, we want to make sure we're using proper grammar. You want to have it in essay format and whatnot. And again, if you need help, look for those resources because they're out there. For like the video personal statements and philosophies, make sure you look professional, you know, make sure you're in an environment where it's quiet. You know, if you got to go to someone else's house because you know your house is loud and everybody act a plain fool, go ahead and go. You know, even if it's like you got to get a study room at the library or something, somewhere where you can be closed off, go ahead and invest in that. And then now, you know, there's all of these like co-working spaces and areas that's dedicated to doing work. So even if you have to rent that out, like, you're investing into your dreams, right? So go ahead and do what you got to do to get to where you're trying to get to, okay? But again, yes, you want to make sure you look professional. Jot down some notes for your video so that you have some things in mind. You know, for these videos, I have some things in mind. You know, a lot of it, yes, I can talk through, but I've already thought through what I want to say so that I can give the best presentation and be thorough in what I'm presenting on these videos, okay? So make sure, again, you present yourself in the best way possible, and to do that, think about it, plan in advance, rehearse in advance. You know, you can do it in front of someone else before you get it on camera or whatever it is. But, and a tip that I've learned about just doing like social media content, I once heard somebody say like you can put a picture of a family member or something like above your camera and act like you're talking to that person. So if that helps, especially in terms of like eye contact or something like that, just a suggestion for those video interviews. If you do so happen to have a in-person interview, then of course make sure you go there dressed professionally. I guess this will be moving on to the next tip, right? So for the interview space, again, you want to maybe Google some most common questions asked for a nursing school interview, something like that, so that you can go ahead and start working on your answers, right? I'm sure they're going to be similar to like job interview questions. You know, name 3 weaknesses about yourself, name 3 strengths about yourself, why do you want to go to nursing school, and then of course, you know, I'm sure it'll be like some type of maybe challenging question and whatnot. And again, be yourself. I can't remember when I heard this person interview, but it was a girl and her background was in customer service. She worked at like maybe a T-Mobile or AT&T, and this was like probably 7 to 8 years ago. But I remember hearing her interview and she really pitched it like she didn't come from this place of insecurity, like, oh, I don't have any experience in healthcare. No, she spun that sucker around like, you know, this is why I would be great as a nurse, because working at T-Mobile, I've already began to develop my customer service skills. This is how I follow up with clients. You know, I make sure that I am friendly. I build rapport with people. I am knowledgeable about the products, blah, 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 blah. Whatever your strengths are, whatever your experience and skills are, spin that around and be confident, you know, in who you are, and know that if it's for you, it's for you, and ain't nobody gonna be able to take that away from you, okay? If God put your name on it and you're supposed to be there and you're supposed to go to that school, it's gonna happen, right? So just present yourself as best as possible, like, so that you can get your blessing and don't block yourself from your blessing, if that makes sense, right? Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. My goal is to get this channel up to 10K, baby, 10K. So please make sure you subscribe, share this with a friend, or if there's someone that you know who's interested in going to nursing school, so that they can be successful in that journey and get on in, baby. We need the future nurses of tomorrow, yesterday. Thanks so much. Catch you in the next video. Bye.